Welcome to this tutorial for the LearFan 2200 for MSFS. We've planned our flight in the world map and we're starting from the runway with engines on. Cancel any warning alarms you hear after the plane loads in and hit B to set local altimeter. We can now start configuring the autopilot for flight. The first step is to switch on the flight director. Then we can start to dial in our desired cruising altitude for this short flight, 26,000 feet. We'll also activate vertical speed mode and set a desired vertical speed of 2,000 feet per minute climb. We'll also activate nav mode so the airplane follows our flight plan. With the pre-flight done, parking brake off, throttles up to about 65% power. Rotate around 95 knots, it's a very windy day here today, raise the landing gear after takeoff, and you can retract the flaps also around 120 knots. We'll also activate the autopilot and the plane will start to climb and follow our flight plan. After takeoff, manage the throttle so you stay below the overspeed barber pole. You should be able to find a stable throttle position for the climb without the need to constantly adjust it. As we climb, we'll just cover some of these default avionics, so you can pop up a menu by hitting the menu key and that will appear on the PFD. This will give you various options. First of all is our ILS frequency for our destination, which we're going to set and then transfer to be the primary frequency. To close that, we'll just hit enter. Returning to the menu, we'll also take a look at direct to. So if we go into our flight plan, you can select any waypoint along that plan. If you click on it, it will give you the option to go direct to this waypoint, which is super useful if you're flying online or you want to shorten your route. In the procedures menu, you can also adjust your approach. So if you click approach, it will give you a list of all the available runways at your destination airport. Again, you can adjust these if you're instructed to do so when flying online. The same with your stars, you can select those from a menu. To close this screen on the right hand side, you'll need to click into one of the options. So for example, here we'll go to map, and then you click the full button in the top right corner and it will fill the screen. Now as we climb above our transition altitude, we can set the barometric pressure to standard, which is 2992. Another thing you'll want to do after 8,000 feet in this plane is pressurize the door seals. If you encounter icing during your flight, the anti-ice is located on the center of the panel just below the displays. As we reach top of climb, the airplane enters altitude hold mode. You'll probably want to reduce the throttle a little bit to maintain your airspeed. To figure out where our top of descent is, we'll flip open the flight plan and we'll find a waypoint which is at an altitude that's close to our current cruise altitude, which has a waypoint at a lower altitude just below it. So we'll want to start our descent somewhere between these two waypoints. By the way, the recommended altitudes displayed in the flight plan should be taken with a pinch of salt. Just use common sense and dial in altitudes that are suitable for your flight. So we've arrived at our top of descent, so we'll dial in our final descent altitude. This is usually about 2,000 feet above ground level. We'll then hit vertical speed and dial in a desired descent rate of 2,000 feet per minute. The plane will start to descend and we'll move the throttles back to idle. For some reason the plane always wants us to lower the landing gear at this point, so we'll do that too. As you descend, you'll likely want to increase the throttle a bit just to maintain your airspeed during descent. As you descend through 8,000 feet, you can depressurize the door seals and hit B to set local altimeter as you descend through transition altitude. At bottom of descent, the plane enters altitude hold mode. You'll likely want to increase the throttle slightly to maintain your speed. As the plane turns on to final, it automatically tunes the localizer, so we'll hit approach mode. And we'll also decelerate to approach speed. The plane will happily stay level during approach at around 100 knots, and we can also apply full flaps. As the plane starts to descend on the glide slope, we'll want to decelerate again. This is sort of in the high 80 knots in this plane, depending on load.
Wind 09 or 1 at 12. Cleared to land runway 30.
We let the airplane fly the glide slope all the way down to minimums. Just before touchdown we switch the autopilot off, idle the throttle and flare. Apply brakes till you slow and then vacate the runway. Thank you for watching, I hope you found this useful. If you did, please drop a like and feel free to subscribe. Take care and I'll see you next time.